Okay, so it's Nugget time, and this Nugget is from our F&I Master Conference Best Practices. And this week, we give a shout out to all the studs that participated in that last Masters Conference. Thank you. You're all a bunch of badasses, and I am very thankful that you attended that. Quick refresher, these types of nuggets are ideas that come from our F&I Master Conferences, and the latest one was held not too long ago with top performers all around the country in F&I, and so we're going to share some of that information with you. Now, the last best practice we shared out of this conference I'm talking about was to look at your dealership as a team sport. Offense is sales, defense is service, and special teams is F&I. And I did get a comment from Reed Richards that I really liked. He said that the BDC is the heartbeat of the dealership. And you know, that makes a lot of sense with the way our industry is evolving. Think about that. So another great analogy, Reed, thank you very much. And this nugget is about showing your F&I process to the people inside of your dealership or organization. I really like this idea. It's simple, it's easy, and it can make a big positive impact in a whole lot of different ways. One of the common suggestions, our best practices, is to have each of your sales staff go through a full F&I transaction just like their customers would. Think of all the things that could impact your dealership positively if you were doing this. And here are just a couple. One, the F&I team gets to practice, which is huge. And I like what Nui says about practice. He says it 3 times. You got to practice. So that this benefit alone makes it worth it for the F&I because everybody likes to role play anyway, right? No. On a serious note though, Nui's right and we preach practice as well. So this will help you with that. 2, another good thing that you get out of this is F&I gets to have feedback from an audience that understands the customer from a different perspective, a very important different perspective. You want that feedback as an F&I department so you can change and improve things. There are other benefits to F&I, but how about the sales staff? Do they get anything out of this? Think about some of the typical concerns that we hear from the sales staff when it comes to the F&I department. It takes too long. There's a lot of pressure in there. They don't see value in our F&I products possibly, or F&I makes too much money on the customers, or F&I managers are lazy and their jobs are easy, right? We could come up with a lot more to add to that list, but if we take the salesperson through the whole transaction front to back, they're actually going to be able to understand what's going on behind the curtain. They will have a better understanding that we actually care about their customer, that we want the process to be as smooth and easy on the customer as possible. And they're going to understand better that there's a lot that F&I has to bring to a deal to help put it together for all the parties involved. So it's not quite as easy as everyone thinks. Obviously, when taking your staff through your process in F&I, one of the biggest parts is to have the salesperson be able to play the customer role just like a real customer would and get a real presentation. One thing to keep in mind, though, is to walk the salesperson through the setup from the beginning all the way through what it takes to get a deal funded and titles cleared so they understand the entire process. You can make this part of your new hire F&I orientation process, which we highly recommend, and that's another topic we could discuss if you'd like to. There are plenty of other benefits to taking important members of your team and bringing them into your world and sharing with them the importance of that world to them and their overall customer experience. One more quick thought. It doesn't just have to be the salespeople. Many are moving this idea to other departments of the dealership, which I would highly recommend as well. You could go through the same things with the administration team in your dealership, the service advisors or technicians, service managers, even the parts staff. Obviously, this concept would apply to most, if not every other position at the dealership as well, so you could consider that. All of the same benefits apply, and you get even more synergy within your organization. So take as many members of your organization through your F&I process as possible. Create synergy in your store. So for the book of the week, I'm going to go with Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. It might not seem fitting, but I was thinking one of the big reasons people don't want to do this particular nugget, go show their stuff to everyone, walk them through their processes, is change. It's sometimes because they don't want to look silly or be embarrassed by making a mistake, or maybe they're just nervous and don't like the pressure of a peer watching them perform their job. One thing you can chalk all that back up to is ego. This book does a great job of explaining how the ego tends to take over and get in the way of us doing things like the one suggested in this nugget, making changes or doing different things. So check out the book. It's a solid read. Go get a little bit better. Share some of this with your staff and have a great week.